Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Ryan's Rant. I actually don't have much of a rant. I wanted to share an observation with you. My rant, I guess, is that I'm in New York City, and it's very hot. And New York City might be one of the worst places in the world when it's very hot, but I'm at an industry event, Quirks New York. I think it might be the best event Quirks has ever put on. I've met so many wonderful people, I've reconnected with so many friends. It's been really, really productive. What I wanted to share with you today was actually an observation that I think is really fascinating and how it impacts a paradox in the global marketing landscape. So first, some context. I was raised by a woman from inner city Dublin, and despite the fact that I grew up in the suburbs of Rhode Island in a blue collar family, I had the benefit of spending a lot of time in my summers over in Ireland, where most of my family as a child was. And at that time, when I was a child, the European Union was really flying, and obviously it still is. And I had the chance to interact with kids my own age from all over the place. Albania, Ireland, Italy, playing in the fields as you do in the summers in Ireland. Fantastic. And I was always struck by the fact that it would take us a long time to find shortcuts. At that time, of course, content was released differently. So we never had the same movies. We had very different music. Sports weren't as centralized. And so it took us a long time to find common ground. Of course, human beings do. A few weeks ago, I was on vacation and I hosted a family, actually Zappi's CTO and his family from South Africa, and another family member of ours from Paris. And it just so happened that all the kids were about the same age as my children and my nieces and nephews that were with us. And I was blown away that within about 30 seconds, the kids had the same jokes about the same YouTube influencers and the same stars and the same music. And it made me realize that there's this global commonality, particularly in, say, A and B socioeconomic tiers, where there is true globalization. It brought me back to a book I read when I first got into college about how the world is going to be flat. And I thought to myself, holy shit, the world is flat. And how much of a scaled opportunity that is for marketers as we think about micro content and accessibility of influencers and how we scale that across the business. But just last week, I spent time with an amazing customer of mine who lives in Dubai. And we talked about the dynamics across the Middle East and Africa where people are moving from one country to another. And, Indian consumers want an India-focused brand. Chinese consumers want a Chinese-focused brand. And how that tension between the kids can sort of find common ground because of this device that we're all using, but also the desire for relevance within a local community, and really what that forces brands to think about. Do I use a global brand or do I use a local brand? And can I activate a global influencer locally? The answer is yes to both, but you really need to understand your consumers in the context of your brand, its distinctive brand assets, and how it fits into the occasions of someone's life. So I wanted to share that perspective with you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks.